How's it going, folks? We're going to take a look at another Nendoroid, and this is again of a Disney's Twisted-Wonderland character, and this time it's of Idia Shroud. This is another Aniplex exclusive. I'm pretty sure all of these Twisted-Wonderland characters have been Aniplex exclusives, so you're going to have to jump through a couple of hoops to get your hands on this one. For me, I got mine, I think this one I either got through Hobby Genki or Nin Game. I can't actually remember which one it was. Both similar kind of outlets, but one of those is where I got this from. And since it is another Aniplex exclusive, just like the others before it, you do get this pin badge as well. So it's got a similar sort of illustration style, just like the other previous pin badges. This time, of course, of Idia Shroud, which is looking pretty good over here. The reverse side is pretty much a bog standard badge. So if you've got all the other Nendoroids so far and you've got these, you should probably be building up a nice collection of badges at this point too. Onto the Nendoroid packaging though, it's similar to the other ones before it as well. So you got a nice window display showing you the character there if you want to keep it sealed. So you come with a little bit of a skull icon thing there, a magic book or tablet or something here I can see, and then some sort of limb extras as well. You can see his beautiful looking blue hair and even the kind of different shades of blue in the hair just from this window display, and that's looking really nice as well. If you guys don't know, I love blue, and these kind of mixtures of blue is just, yeah, it's kind of exciting to see really. But otherwise the kind of packaging is pretty similar with poses of the characters down the sides, the top, I'll show you the top in the right way around there, down this side, and on the back too. Also, it's kind of like a touch panel type of thing. But otherwise, yeah, packaging should be or is very similar to other Disney Twisted-Wonderland Nendoroids as well. So here's everything you get with Idia in the box. We'll go through the parts first and then we'll go through the figure. So one of the sets of arms that Idia comes with is going to be the right angle like so. And with either arm you can bend it at the elbow there. And then obviously you attach it at the shoulder bit. You can't detach it here. You may even be able to swap that bit with one of the other arms later. But for now this is pretty much how you're going to keep it. This is the fist that's already attached here. So it comes with a pair of fists. One is attached on a different arm. And then the other one is just going to be a single open palm. I believe it only comes with the single palm. Just double check it. Yeah, single palm. Only one single palm. The actual arms themselves have that kind of 3D polygon sleeve effect going on. And that's kind of matching the overall top that Idia wears as well. It's very cool. It's very kind of interesting little design. I've seen this kind of real design on an Adidas backpack a few years back. But very cool looking design. You can see the blue cuff as well inside on either arm. Idia also comes with additional arms. So this one here for the right arm, which is even more bent and has an index finger already attached to it. This one you can't move at the elbow. This one is pre-made like that, but you can swap the hand out if you wanted to. You only get the right arm like this, and the other left arm is going to be pretty much another 90 degree. It's slightly different, very slightly different. You can see it's slightly wider than that one, but otherwise it's pretty much the same thing in my honest opinion. It's okay. I guess it's fine that they gave it. But same thing with both arms. You've got the same sleeve detail going on. This is the other fist, this time for the left hand. And then Idia also comes with one spare right leg. So this is definitely the right leg because they've also even had the attention to detail on the right shoe too, which is cool. I can show you that shoe right now as well. So the sole of the shoe, the grips look very cool. They kind of protrude outwards. If you look closely here at the edge, they kind of spike outwards, which is very nice. They're not sharp or anything by any means, but I think it's a nice attention to detail. Even the kind of strap here, that's slightly different, so you know it's the right foot, where it's going to be a little bit different or symmetrical on the left foot. So it's cool that they've done that. So it's in a slightly bent position here, and that can kind of give you a slight walking pose if you want to put Idia into a walking pose, or some kind of letting out magic, for example. And there's a single hand as well in the box, which just has the index finger pointing outwards, and that's just going to be for the left hand, like that, and then that's going to be in the same milky color tone. Like most other Nendoroids, you do get a spare neck joint as well, and this is in the same milky color tone that matches the skin tone of Idia too. In the box is also this little plastic sheet. If you've seen my other Nendoroids, for example, the Kingdom Hearts Riku one, that came with something similar. Try not to lose this. If you are someone who throws away their packaging, you may lose this. So check the inlay of the package, because that's where this is stuck onto. Mine actually has a little film on there. I think all of them will have a little plastic film on there. I'm going to leave mine on for the time being, just because I don't really use them too much. But otherwise, it's recommended you take it off for that kind of extra nice finish of it. You attach this to one of these plastic arms here. This specific arm attaches to this sheet here, and then the arm itself would attach to the base. So this plastic sheet is basically showing measurements of some kind, 91% for something. Who knows? Maybe he's checking someone's grades, magic levels. Who knows? At this point, make it up. I don't really know the actual story behind Idia too well, but you get this anyway because I guess it's part of its character. You also get a little skull piece here, which I've already attached to the arm. You can see it kind of plugs to the back of the head there. the skull piece is sculpted pretty nicely. So it's mostly just a white skull shaped thing, or kind of a stylized skull with some kind of detailing there, lines on either side, symmetrical detailing, black eyes. You got some insignia here as well, which is kind of a light blue, might be too bright to see, but a light blue skull, but of a triangle shaped skull instead. Very cool looking skull, very simple looking skull, but very cool. Attached to the arm already, you attach this back onto the base as well. Now, to be honest, I don't know what this is. This could be another kind of exclusive magic kind of property for this character, most likely because it's the skull and it's got some symbol on there. But again, I do not know. Maybe one day we'll find out once the game releases or the anime releases in the West. And then the other part that Idia comes with is this little tablet looking thing here, which is sound only. Has a similar triangular skull that the actual skull had on there as well. To be honest, I still don't know what this is either. It just says sound only. I'm going to assume it's some tablet of some kind. You can attach this to the arm here. So this is the exact same arm as the one that the skull is already attached on. And then this too, you attach to the base. The base is going to get crowded now that you've got this, the skull, and the touch panel. So it might just look a little bit too busy. And finally, for the head, so Idia does come with 2 additional face plates. So you've got the first one here where it's looking a little bit sinister, evil. I'm not really sure exactly. He doesn't sound like an evil guy despite being based off of Hades, but he sounds a little bit more like a cool guy, pretty okay. He doesn't even sound ill-tempered, to be honest, but this is one of the extra faces that you get, and it's a very nice looking face, very nice expression. All the faces are very cleanly done. The blues are great around the eyes. The eyebrows are good. He's even got the little blue kind of lipstick there on this one, even on here, so you can see on this one, which is great too. So this one is more of a worried expression. I really like his eyes as well, by the way. So his eyes have got the yellow irises on all of them, which look great. My favorite one though is definitely going to be the one that's already attached to the figure. So let's go on to the figure itself. So I've already got it attached to the base stand. If you're lucky and you can kind of balance it, you may not need the base stand, but for the most part, you're going to want to use the base stand, just like for most of the other Twisted-Wonderland Nendoroids. I've already got it pre-attached there. As you can see, it goes underneath Idia's hair there. So it does secure it very well, but it will hamper movement, which I'll get into in just a second. But let's have a closer look at the figure. So Idia's sporting the very nice, luscious blue hair, fiery blue hair that's in different kind of shades of blue going on here. As you can see, deeper shade of blue in certain root areas, and then it kind of lightens up as it gets to the tips, especially if you come down here, it kind of gets to more frosted, icy looking blue around these areas here. Coloration on the hair is very nice. I really like what's going on there. And it really captures that kind of fiery Hades essence for this Idia character, Nendoroid. It looks very, very good. You can see there's loads of spikes going on around there as well. Most of it should be okay. You don't need to worry too much about breaking anything. I would say maybe be careful of this particular spike here when you remove the hair or you change faces. That one, because it kind of thins out there, you can see. And then the other one is maybe this bit here. That's also on a thin little bit there. And then finally this one here. This one you can see is kind of like a separate piece anyway. So if it did come off and it didn't break at that kind of arm bit, it should be okay. I don't really like how it's kind of a separate bit. I don't know why they didn't just sculpt it nicely there. I've got a little bit of a blemish here, but it's no big deal. Nothing too drastic. But yeah, just maybe 1 or 2 bits to keep an eye on when you're handling this figure. A few spikes, but otherwise it was okay for me when swapping out the faces. The original face already attached to this figure is also really well done as well. Nice kind of blue eyeshadow too. Again, the yellow iris is very nicely looking. He's off looking to the left just a wee bit. So depending on the pose, you might not like this. You might want to prefer to swap out with a different face. But I kind of like this one. He's kind of a little bit aloof in this one. But he's also sporting the blue lipstick as well. In terms of skin tone, this guy sports a very, very milky kind of skin tone. It looks very, very milky to me. And that's great. It looks great. Some people might say it looks very ghostly, very pale. But for me, the figure looks very, very milk tone. And then onto his torso or his jacket, all that detail is right there as well, which is great. I think that's the Ignihyde school emblem on the top right of his chest there. And then he's got this kind of pouch bit that kind of extends out. And the strap actually is there, as you can kind of see the strap right there. And as mentioned previously, he's got the kind of 3D polygon kind of shaped pattern all over his jacket, including the sleeves and the actual main part of the torso bit as well. So really cool. Pants are kind of plain on the front side. He's got one little strap there. And then on the back side, I'm going to take him off the stand, just kind of show you that better. He's got a whole bunch of straps that just kind of come down And these can get a little bit in the way when you're kind of maneuvering its legs or trying to swap out this right leg for the other leg. One of mine did actually come off. I'll even take that off there, see how easy that came off. If I just move the legs back again like this, I can kind of feed it back a little bit and then it kind of goes in, but eventually it will end up coming back out. I haven't had that problem with the other straps, and hopefully you don't have that problem later on. It's not broken per se, a little bit of glue might sort it out. In terms of articulation, there's not too much really with him. He can look down like so. He can actually look up. Surprisingly, he can look up, but that's going to be stopped because of that little peg or stand peg at the back of him. So without that, he can actually look up a decent amount. That's actually quite good for an Nendoroid, despite him having massively big hair as well. So he can actually look up quite a bit. But because for me, I needed the support of the stand. Once you have that attached, he can't really look up. He's just going to look mostly straight. But otherwise, very limited head movement, and his hands or arms move up and down. And you can kind of swivel the arms depending on which arm you had. For example, if you had the right angle arm like so, and then he's got the twist at the torso there. And then his legs do move up and down ever so slightly. I can feel this strap has come off, so I'm going to leave that to the side. So yeah, legs move up and down just a wee little bit. But of course, we didn't expect too much articulation from this guy. So let's move on to swapping parts. So swapping parts is going to be pretty straightforward. First, we'll start with changing the face plate. So I'm going to get the face or the hair off here. It's a bit spiky, so watch your fingers, take that off. And we have access to the face plate like so. I'm going to remove that and put it into the worried face. I quite like this worried face as well. And then we just replace that and put the hair back on like so. And there we go. He's got his shocked facial expression, which is looking very nice. Swap this with one of the hands. Let's go with the bent arm like so. Actually, when we remove the arms, I would recommend, or my preference is to change the hand before attaching the arm back on. So I do like using the open hand. So I'm going to use that on here. The reason I say that is because the hair gets in the way afterwards because it's so big. So it's easier to just do the hand first and then attach the arm. So if we have that on right now, let's say I need to change the hand, I just feel this part of the hair gets in the way. That's just for me. You can do it however you want, but that's what I do. So we've changed one arm. I'm going to change the leg as well because that's the other part that he's got to change. So we just pull that off here. Now, obviously, keep in mind the little straps at the back because that's attached to the pouches there. One of mine already came off. Again, it's not broken. I can feed that back in. But for you, if you accidentally went too far and then you just bent this too much, you could end up damaging it permanently, which would be a little bit sad. All you got to do then is grab the right leg and then just feed the peg into the hips. You can maybe just assist and bend that like so to make it a bit easier. Feed that in. There we go. And it kind of plugs in quite nicely. Looks good. And that's it really for swapping parts for Idia. It's very straightforward to do. He doesn't come with too many things to swap around with. As I mentioned, you do just stick in the skull, for example, into the base, which I can show you right now. You just pick a hole and plug that in like so there. And then, of course, attach the figure back onto the base stand. I do recommend the base stand again, just to give support for the figure. And that's all there is for this Nendoroid of Idia Shroud. It's a very good looking Nendoroid. I think the hair is captured very, very nicely. The blue is great on this and the sculpt on it is very nice as well. Even the jacket, I like the polygon detail that's been captured there, is very nice as well. Even the sneakers, I like the underside of the sneakers, though the grip on that or the sole on that is very nice looking. So it's a very nice looking Nendoroid. The parts with it are pretty good. I think the hands or the arm parts are decent, and the hand types are decent as well. The skull, tablet, and the screen, I don't really know too much about this character, so in terms of context, I don't really know how to use it effectively, but they're going to be relevant to the character, so it should be okay if you know much more about the character than I do. Personally speaking, the straps on the Nendoroid, on this bum pouch, for example, those are pretty annoying. So when it comes to trying to articulate and pose the legs or even swap the right leg, it can get quite annoying in my opinion. Even sometimes changing the arms or tweaking the arms because of the big hair, that gets in the way as well. Once you attach it to the stand, you can't make the figure look up. So that kind of stuff does get a little bit frustrating and kind of brings the figure down just a bit for me. It's still a good looking Nendoroid, but once you kind of factor in that kind of stuff, it's a little bit annoying to deal with. But yeah, it's still a good looking Nendoroid. If you are still collecting the Twisted-Wonderland Nendoroids, then by all means get them all because they all look wonderful together. The next Nendoroid I'm going to check out from Twisted-Wonderland is going to be Malleus, so hopefully I'll see you in that one. In the meantime, take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon.